All right, so I mean, we've seen like the first round of your clothes, a lot more of like art and like more brand related. But like you've talked about how you really are into music, and how that's had an influence on you, especially growing up. Your parents were musical or like musicians,
Yeah.
and you're a musician. So like, let's get into more of like the musical and that's more of the guest stuff that you have collected over the years.
Yeah. This first one, I actually like. I try to collect these shirts like much as I can. But, like the Gearing shirts, they did only like jazz and blues artists, and most of the shirts are like obscure, like a few of them I have like a Lead Belly and have a Sonny Boy Williamson like harmonica player, but some super obscure, like this is like a Muddy Waters, which a lot more people know who he is.
And
But
what instruments
this,
do you play?
Harmonica and guitar.
Okay.
But like being like a blues person, like I actually go down to the city where Muddy Waters is like he grew up at, and like has his like first little cabin there and stuff. But
where's that?
And then that's in Clarksdale, Mississippi.
Okay.
And this shirt like means a lot to me because like actually I grew up going to this store off of Beetle Street in Memphis, and this like came out of the 90s there.
Did you do a lot of traveling when you were younger?
Oh yeah.
As well? Okay.
When I was younger, I was like super into like playing blues festivals all across the whole country, mainly.
It's so weird. It feels like another chapter of like a life that you've lived, because like
yeah,
like you like because you performed for Morgan Freeman, right?
Yeah, down in Clarksdale, Mississippi, down at like his club.
That's so weird because like now you're like really doing a lot of clothes and stuff. I know you still do music, but it's like you performed, you like traveled, and then now you're kind of like traveling to do clothing and stuff like that. So do you think you just got really comfortable traveling, and that's why now you're like, oh, I'll go anywhere to find clothes, or like?
Yeah, I mean, like getting in a car for 5 hours, like 5-hour trip doesn't really. 5 hours is really not a trip, like too much. Like once it starts getting like over 10 hours, that's when it's like a toll, the drive. Yeah. But this one's pretty crazy. I like Hank Sr. a lot, but finding like Hank Sr. shirts are like super rare. But this is like the Tear in My Beer shirt, and like they had a music video actually, like in the 80s, like Hank Jr. did, and like Hank Jr. did the Tear in My Beer, which was like an original song from Hank Sr., but they slipped him like in the video, like with like a storm like came in, and like he started like appeared like as a ghost. So like this is like the ghost like they're singing together in the music video. I don't know if you watched the music video. Yeah, the T-shirt like makes a bunch of sense after you like watch the video.
Gotcha. Yeah, I feel like the graphics that they made are just in the past are just like way more crazy than anything that you find like and musicians are making now, of like their TRTs and stuff like that.
Yeah, I thought this one was really crazy just because, like, never really seen the T-shirt, like, related with a music video so much.
Right. Because would you say this is almost like a shot for, like, they took it from the music video?
Yeah, this is almost, like, literally a shot from the music video down here.
That's really weird. Green stars?
Yeah, this is like a dead stock shirt.
What's your
actually never worn this shirt. Just always kept it in the closet, bought it.
How'd you come across it?
Found it on eBay. It's like... I thought it was a steal, like $25 or something. I was like,
for something you're interested in.
Gotta get that. Really,
yeah.
Like having Hank Sr. on it makes it worth a bunch to me.
Yeah.
This is the Blues Club from Chicago, and I mean this Blues Club's been like around for years. One of the like the OG clubs. Pretty sure like Muddy Waters and stuff, like the Chess like records, like cats from Chicago, like even played at this club back in the day, like Hollow Wolf and people like that.
They're still around, you said?
They're not still around, but like this is like a later shirt after everybody was gone, but like the club was like from, I think they started like in the 40s or 50s.
Okay. Yeah.
This is like one of my favorite shirts though. Pink Floyd's like one of my favorite bands of all time because I grew up like watching like the Wall tape and shit, and my dad actually has like the original tour, like '94 tour
Really?
Like Pink Floyd that he got from the concert, like on the Brockham tag and everything.
He still has it?
Yeah, he still wears it. It's a black shirt, and now it looks like it's a gray T-shirt.
Those are the best wears. Because, I mean, if he wore it for years and years and years, that's just what naturally happens.
But this one's pretty crazy. I think it's like a 87. But it has like it literally has like all the hitters like on it from like all the different albums.
Yeah, this is crazy. And it's just like
It's
a
super
huge graphic
crazy.
too.
Like has that graphic on it from one of the shirts. Has that graphic from the wall shirt.
Yeah, it's a good mixture of everything.
Somebody like this was a bootleg genius on this.
Yeah, do you usually like bootlegs versus like the actual like licensed stuff? Like, do you think that people are just able to get more creative with it?
For this, I think like this is like one of the better Pink Floyd shirts, just like tour shirts. Now for like, I don't know, like it gets for Pink Floyd like specifically like they have like some licensed Pink Floyd shirts are just nuts, like all overprint Lunar shirts that I would say are just as good as a bootleg, but I don't know, depends. Like I think when it comes to like Nike or Gucci, I think the Nike and Gucci stuff is like way better. Like that Nike bootleg is like way better than most Nike pieces, I think.
Yeah, the only thing with like the Nike and Gucci's always seems like it was missing a little bit of the quality, but like the creativity that they were like able to like just experiment with because they're not technically like a licensed thing. That was definitely a little bit ahead of its time.
Here's an example of a non-bootleg T-shirt that I think is kind of hard to top.
And I think Grateful Dead always just did probably some of the best graphics on it.
It's like my all-time favorite T-shirt, probably.
Would you say they're your favorite band? Or they're up there?
No, they're definitely up there in the recent past few years. I really didn't listen to them growing up in the house. My mom always had the T-shirts, and like I knew like Casey Jones and like some of the basic songs, but recent years like I've actually got like a super big ear for them, like. But
yeah, and it's one of those things that like it's been popping off in like vintage and like even like with reprints and stuff like that. A lot of people wear it, and like a lot of people haven't heard any of the music.
T-shirts are way more popular than their music, but
something about the bears is just really cute. I really like the shirt though too, and it's like the space theme and stuff like that.
But Grateful Dead, like, I don't know. There's a lot of different reasons why the Dead, like their marketing skills were so crazy back in the day. Like they gave away their music like when like CDs and tapes were like a main source of like income for being a musician, and they really like paved the way for how the music industry is right now, just like marketing yourself and going on tours and selling merch versus like selling like your CD and promoting your new album that's coming out, and like you can't get it anywhere unless you buy the CD.
Everything
like,
else
they made it to where like people could record it and share it, and there's a big old party at all their shows.
And so then
like
the experience is more.
It's more of a community than just a fan base.
Right.
This is like I don't know if this is for sure Grateful Dead. Far as I can find, I found like a Grateful Dead collector that said they found this shirt. They bought this shirt in the parking lot from one of the last Grateful Dead shows where Jerry Garcia was alive. So this was like.
Did he die in
95?
Okay, 95.
So like this was like one of the bootleg shirts that were just floating around a lot back then. But all the cartoon bootleg shirts, like that's the kind of bootleg I would say like is the best, better than just a normal cartoon shirt. It's just a bootleg cartoon, especially like when it comes to the Dead. But this has like Scooby, Dr. Seuss, Cookie Monster, Where the Wild Things Are, Snoopy, Alice in Wonderland, Winnie the Pooh.
Supposed to be Where's Waldo?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good hide because it took me a second to find him. Yeah, it's
really such a crazy shirt, and it has the front hit of Where the Wild Things Are.
Yeah.
This is a shirt that just had to get a hold of. This got pulled down in Louisville. It's another one of those shirts. So just the bootleg cartoon that really did it off. The Grateful Dead.
With Bart too, yeah.
But this is actually like a
Bart.
college event shirt. I've been like grabbing onto these shirts a lot lately. I actually have like another one that doesn't fit me though, but find it real quick. It's super. This is another like College Dead t-shirt.
Yeah, I've seen like the Butler one pop up.
Yeah.
That one was really cool. And I
Like-
think there's some Indiana University stuff that they did for like Little Five and stuff like that. That's really cool. That they use the dead bears and stuff like that, and it looks really cool.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I just like these are some of my favorite shirts when they're like this. Like just the backboard of the moon and everything.
And you think when they're more obscure and kind of like random, it makes them cooler.
Yeah, like I don't think this like has a bunch of value to it, but they're always beat up, and I love white t-shirts though. White tees are always my favorite.
Yeah.
I don't know. I like hoard them a lot. Then this one's actually one my mom got when she was like in college in the early 90s. Well, maybe this was a later one. I think this one's 96.
This is one your mom had?
Yeah.
And a long sleeve. It's like
she got it like Karma Records or something like that.
That's so cool. So she passed it on to you?
Yeah. She actually had like a ton of them, and then like me and my sister like squabbling over like which ones we're gonna get. Then, cause like she's like they're out in the garage somewhere, and like we just like started tearing apart the garage, like where are the tees at?
Yeah, dude. My dad had that when we were younger. We would wear his t-shirts like to bed, and we just like that was our pajamas. And then at one point, my dad's like, "I'm gonna run a bunch of my t-shirts. You can pick one and you can both pick one." And I was like, "Okay, cool." My sister grabbed like it was like the Nike. I've shown you the splatter paint. Like it's got like the orange and red or the orange and white paint all over it, and then the Nike on the big like puff print. And she got it, and his is like almost like gray now, and it's like the paint is really worn down on it. And she got that one, and I don't even remember what I grabbed, like a late night David Letterman, because I really like David Letterman. And now I look back at it, and I'm like, dude, why didn't I grab that Nike? And I'm like, I still try to get it off for now, and I feel bad taking it from her, so I never actually take it from her. But I always like joke around with her. I'm like, I need to grab that. So
It's funny as hell.
It's interesting the way our parents influence us with like the stuff that they wear growing up, and then.
Yeah, for sure. I was just like looking at a bunch of like baby photos the other day. I'm like, it's like holy shit, my parents are like 90s as fuck, like wearing everything, like wearing like purple like polos with like whitewashed jeans and stuff. I'm like, oh no.
Yeah, you always think about it as like some look, but it's like that's just what it was. Like, and that is kind of like the weird thing. Like that started like this series that we want to do is like kind of explore like what indie is like, because we don't really have like an identity as like a fashion capital or anything like that.
Yeah, I think it is like a drop-off place for a lot of the Guess and Tommy and Ralph Lauren. It's a test market for all this like designer type of high-end streetwear.
Yeah.
Because we're like filled with the stuff out here. Some of it.
Yeah,
There's
if you
so
like,
much Ralph Lauren out in Indiana. It's crazy.
If you go to like the department stores, like they all have like sections of like, I mean now, but I'm sure like back in like the 90s and stuff like that too, they were starting to mess around with that, and that's how a lot of the stuff got here. But it's interesting, like, did people pick that up and then just start wearing it, or like what's the identity of Indianapolis? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't really know.
Yeah.
Seems like it's a big old mix of everything for the most part.
Yeah, and then someone like you kind of mixes in all the stuff that you like, and then you start forming your collection and your style, and then that's just kind of like.
When it comes to like Indiana, like the identity, like I would say is like maybe something like the senior chords, but like they didn't even make those past like the early 70s. Like it was out by then. But like any time before that, like that was like definitely an Indiana icon piece.
Right.
Oh, well, Cops is ready to get taken out. But this is like another parking lot, like dead tea type of feel. Which I like love these t-shirts.
Miracle Trip mushroom cheese.
Yeah, like it's another bootleg like t-shirt.
Yeah. Is there anything on the back?
Yeah, it has like this weird graphic dog eat dog.
Oh wow. It's like a yin and yang, but dog eat dog. That's pretty cool.
Actually have like another one of these. It's like a person holding like a bowl of like weed nugs, and it says Wheaties.
Yeah. I like those like those random like weed t-shirts and stuff like that.
And this one's pretty crazy. The big bad wolf.
Where'd you get this one?
I pulled this one out of the bins actually.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that.
But it's like on the 80s tag. But I don't know, you just never like really see like a big bad wolf Disney tee ever.
Were you a big Disney fan growing up?
Not too much. Like I watched some of it. Like it's more like into like the Monsters Inc. and stuff like that, and Bugs Life. It's more of those types of movies versus like the actual like traditional cartoon ones.
Yeah, like the princesses and all that stuff. Yeah.
Like more of the late 90s, 2000s was like Toy Story. Like was a big one when I grew up. This is another shirt from my mom, which is pretty crazy. I just like remembered this shirt like so hard when I was a kid because like my dad actually had like a plate with this on it.
Oh really? So it's something that she grew up like you remember her wearing when you were growing up?
Mm-hmm. And just my dad had the plate with the graphic on it. It's just such a crazy graphic. If you actually like look at the tree, there's like faces like within the it's kind of faded right now, but even within this, like there's an eagle right there you can see. It's kind of hard to see now. Like it's all animals like within the whole piece.
Yeah. What's this, a mountain?
I don't know.
Yeah, the fade does kind of make it.
Yeah, the crackling really like threw it off.
I like this shirt though, yeah. And it's cool because you have like a special connection to it.
Mm-hmm.
Through your mom.
So definitely t-shirts when they're like XL, I know I could like definitely be able to wear them. They're always keepers, but this is like a shirt I found myself, and like what was crazy is like I almost bought this shirt like a week before I found it.
Another liquid blue.
Yeah. This shirt, like, the dude was, like, wearing it in the movie Half Baked, though.
And then you found it a week
later?
I
seen it, and I was like, damn, that's the Liquid Blue t-shirt. I was like, I have to have that shirt now. Because I knew what shirt it was. And then, yeah, I was, like, looking around online. People were asking, like, $70, $80 for them. I was like, hold off. I almost bought it, though. This is a size large that I was going to buy.
Even better.
Yeah, and then I found the XL.
Because you like your stuff fit a little bit baggy or like...
Yeah, I like to be... I don't know. Just, even if, like, they are going to be, like, a collector's piece, like, who knows, like, what size I'm going to be one day, and maybe, like, I know if I'm smaller, like, I'm going to be able to fit the XL. If I'm bigger, I'll be able to fit the XL.
Right.
Definitely room to grow into an XL right now.
Yeah, with quarantine, you never know. You might get a little bit bigger. That's how I got.
That's how I did for sure. I gained, like, another 15 pounds. This one's pretty crazy. I brought my friend, like, to one of my favorite, like, thrift spots once, and he pulled this on me. I was like, oh.
Was it...
Like, literally, like, walked over. No, it was, Ian. Reclaim.
Yeah.
This is kind of funny. But, it worked out, because, like, I had I pulled, like, a 1988 Batman, like, the year he was born. And he wanted it really bad. He's like, I was like, would you trade that Grateful Dead for the Batman? He said, yeah. But this is like, this is funny, like, when he pulled this was like a $40 t-shirt.
And how much has it gone up now?
I don't know. I think I'd ask like anywhere from like 100 to 120 on this shirt, just because the actual tie-dye is pretty crazy and the colors pop out really good.
But that's really interesting, like the connections that like there's so many people thrifting, so there's stuff that you might be interested in that somebody else might want something from you, and then it works out that you guys can trade.
Yeah, it's how it worked out this piece, kinda. Ian actually pulled this shirt too, like pretty close to that time, and but I pulled like a pair of 1950 like Biggie like salvage like red line like jeans, and I think it was literally the day before he found this at the same spot, and I sold it to him, sold him the jeans for like a steal. So then he found this, and he like returned the favor by like selling me it for like a good ass deal too. But this is a 1984 Tony Hawk. First pro model that ever came out. First sponsor that he ever had, like pro sponsor.
Yeah, something I've never seen before.
He's only 14 when this like came out, so he is like a still baby. And this is like, this stuff is so rare because like when Tony, like I don't know if most people know this, but when he was 14 and he was a pro then, nobody liked Tony Hawk. They thought his style was whack. Like he wore a helmet and knee pads. Like he just was not cool. But he's really good. So like, to find one of these pieces like dead stock and in like collector's condition, and he wasn't even collectible then. Like
right, yeah.
Like who would know like to grab this?
That's a lot of the stuff. Like even with like Michael Jordan was like very like popular off the bat. But like even then, a lot of people like who's to think like collect. I think now we start looking like Zion is something that I've seen like my buddy's like collecting his cards because he knows at some point he might be valuable. I think LeBron is probably like even in that there are people that collect a lot of LeBron stuff. But like with like Michael and like Tony Hawk and like people that are paving the way, like you don't think to keep those things. It's like, oh, this is some scrub. Like
yeah, he did. Was crazy. Tony Hawk didn't get famous until nearly like 15 years later, after he did like the 900 in the late 90s at the X Games, and then his games started coming out, and he really blew up then.
That's crazy because it's like one of those things that like now like you think everybody knows Tony Hawk.
Yeah, he didn't have the Tony Hawk was not Tony Hawk like before his 900 and his video games. People just didn't really know who he was, but you ask like any parents in a household, they know who a skateboarder is. They're just gonna say Tony Hawk. It's
right.
Just the skateboarder everybody knows.
Exactly. Yeah. Cool. Do you want to get into your guess jeans?
Yeah.
Your tees?
This is like one of the main things that I've like. This is like the hardest stuff to get a hold of actually out of everything. Just being a collector.
This is what I've always known you to be like a huge collector of. Like I know that you collect a lot of stuff. But like, I mean, you used to be NASCAR and Tommy, and I remember when you were when your name was NASCAR and Tommy and not StayTuned now. Like, I remember a lot of things. Everyone was like, "Oh, if it's Guess, you were gonna go ahead and grab it." So, I mean, it's cool to see like so many stripes all in one, because I know that they like really hit off with like ASAP and all that stuff, and like were really popular, and then they've kind of died down again now.
Yeah, I think after like they reissued a lot of them, like a lot of the shirts. They kind of killed the market, putting a bunch of new repros in there. Yeah. Like this is like one of them, but this is like the iconical one that came out. That was a new one. Like the rainbow stripe, the farmer's market by Sean Witherspoon. These like held their value. I think but everything else kind of dropped off.
Yeah. Because the ASAP one was a very like it feels like they just like rushed to see like how like people would react to new Guess stripes coming out,
which it was really good, but once they put out like 20 releases around the whole world of these, like multiple website drops. I feel like if they just did one drop, the market would have been pretty hot on them still.
Yeah, but I also think that like Sean is someone that like knows about vintage and cares about vintage versus like ASAP doesn't necessarily like curate as much. So I think the reason those were better quality and like he did like an entire like like event around it. I think that's why they like lasted or like did a lot like lasted and hold their value. But like I think Guess like was just coming out with way too much stuff at once, and then it kind of just like crashed and people stopped caring about it.
Yeah. Another reason why I like the Guess is they're like always baggy, and the quality is so thick on these like 90s and 80s Guess stripes. Like I've never actually like ripped a hole in one or anything, like skated in them a lot.
Yeah, you never really find them in like terrible condition, other than like maybe like
Some
a stain or something like
yeah.
that. And that's something that's like completely out of the control of like the T-shirt. But they always like every time I've seen them, they hold up.
What's crazy is there's so many different variations of these shirts.
Yeah.
A few of these like the McDonald's colorway, and like this is like pretty sought after. Very hard to get, like these two colors.
Mm-hmm.
This is one I'd never seen. Like I'd never seen another one of it, like this colorway.
This one's like the reverse.
Yeah, it's like the reverse Men's Society one.
Men's Society. Yeah, it's like because the other one is like more brown, and then it has like smaller micro. Like I think they're black, but they might be navy.
Thick stripe versus like the small stripe.
Yeah, and even the stripes came in so many different variations, and that's like the crazy thing of like the different colors, the different like short sleeve, long sleeve. Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, this one's like one of my favorites too. This is like the Jordan colorway. The red.
Did you get this one from Bailey?
No, I got this from a dude down in Versailles, Indiana, but he is legit like the biggest like stripe collector in like the whole world.
What's
like,
his name?
His name's Kyle Atkins, but I think he goes by like Silver Spoon on Instagram.
Okay.
But the dude just recently sold his collection, but he had over 100 guest stripes.
Oh my goodness, he got rid of it all?
He got like rid of them all.
That's
and like some of these, like I got this one like before like he got rid of them all, but like he'd come up to my events and like we would like do like big guest stripe trades. Like I would trade like one and like he'll trade another one to me, and like he'd want like some like bootleg Gucci's and stuff. Like he's into that, so like I traded this like for a few like bootleg Gucci's. Like when the market was pretty hot.
Yeah, and it's nice to be able to trade stuff that like you might necessarily like not care as much about for something you really care about.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
This is one I actually pulled myself. I've actually never really. I've only pulled. I think one. Yeah. I've only pulled one guest stripe. Yeah, and this is it.
I've never pulled one. I'm still waiting for my moment to pull one.
But I was stoked I pulled one that was like obscure versus like just a basic like white and silver one or something like that.
Do you think it means a lot more to you like to keep in your collection because you found it yourself? Like you remember like how excited you were about it when you found it?
For sure, like this piece, since like I had all these shirts before I found this shirt, so like actually finding one myself, I was like, oh, this is priceless.
Right. Especially when you know what you paid for the other ones versus like going and finding it and like
even though I didn't find this, like since like one of my buddies found it and I know where it came from, and it's like super hands-on getting it, like even getting them from a buddy, like I think it's like has the same value, like when they see it they're like, oh wow, like because you can have a connection, like when you break out a shirt from 2 years ago and somebody's like, damn, you still have that shirt.
I feel like that's really true. It's just nice getting like a deal from somebody, or also just like someone appreciating what you collect, and they're like, all right, I know that this means more to you than me getting a bunch of money for it. So yeah, those kind of sentiments feel really good when you're collecting or looking back at your collection at the stuff that you've gotten from your buddies.
Yeah, Bailey actually hooked me up with this one.
I know. I went up there to try and get this. He's like, "Oh, Carson's coming up for it. You already traded me." I'm like, "Are you kidding me, Carson?" But I was like, I knew.
I actually like looked for this shirt for nearly 3 years. They're always a size small or extra small, and this is like a large, which is still kind of fits like kind of tight on the pits on me. But until like I find an XL, like I'm not getting rid of it, you know.
But even then, like the large sometimes fits really good on the body, but then the sleeves feel weird.
Yeah, the sleeves are shorter on the that's the only difference. But like this one's a large, or maybe even a medium, a large. This one fits like crazy good.
Yeah, I don't know what they were doing, I guess, because they like either made their stuff really boxy and they'd be like, oh, it's a large, and it'd be like so short.
They'd make like a unisex, like I think like they made this slim to where like a guy or a girl could like rock it, you know.
Yeah, it's one of those things that it's like you got to try it on,
like,
instead of just buying it and be like, oh yeah, it's a large, it'll fit, because you never know what a large is gonna feel like.
This is a size large, and like this one's like way bigger than like that. But these are like these two colors like took me so long to get a hold of, like it was nuts.
Do you have a nickname for this one?
No, I feel these ones don't really have like names for them.
This one reminds me of like bubble gum or like ice cream or something like that?
Actually, yeah. People called that one like watermelon, I think.
Watermelon, that's a good one too. Yeah, just reminds me of like candy or something like that. The other one, I have absolutely no idea what that one would remind me of.
This one, this is like the stripe that like started it all. My buddy, his co-worker gave him like a trash bag full of like clothes, and like this was like one of the pieces that were in it. This was like 4 years ago or something. And this is like literally right when like ASAP like first like wore it, and like they were like $80 or something around then.
Were you into vintage and like thrifting?
Yeah, I was into vintage, okay. And they're like, "Oh, I have a Guess stripe," and I was like, "A Guess stripe?" I was like, "It's really cool." And then like he's like, "Yeah, they're worth a bunch," and I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Oh, I'll give you like 40 for it then, I guess, like just to flip it." And then like I ended up just keeping it. Then my buddy, he said like he was supposed to get the shirt or something, like, so he's like, but like my other buddy, he sold it to me because he just wanted some money really quick and wouldn't want to wait. So like I ended up selling this, like letting him get it for like what I paid for it, and then like I regretted it so bad for years and years, and like a year and a half or 2 years after he let me get the shirt
back in
like yeah, I finally got back in my hands.
Yeah. But
like after I let this go, I started like collecting all these, and like I was like, this one always like, it's like, man, I just don't have that one though. And then I finally got it. Yeah. Well, it's crazy. It's XL and it fits like a dress.
Do you tuck it in ever, or like do you just wear it baggy?
I always wear the Guess stripes baggy. I usually don't tuck them for some reason.
Yeah,
like I'll tuck I'll tuck a band tee. Yeah. But I won't tuck a Guess stripe for some reason.
That's fair.
Like maybe a Tommy polo. I'll tuck those for sure.
Do you want to get into a couple of these up here?
Yeah. This is like one of my favorites for sure. Oh yeah. But I don't know. I've actually had this shirt twice before I sold it and went and bought the shirt again because like I regretted.
Dude, yeah.
Selling it.
Do you ever wear it?
Oh yeah, I wear this one a lot, but I haven't been wearing it recently because it's so hot out. Yeah, it's like wearing a big old sticker.
Yeah, and that print, yeah, it's like you feel it like on your skin when you get sweaty. Yeah, it's
like you can see like the print almost sticks through on them.
Yeah.
But the first one I had was super worn, and the print didn't do that, so I regret selling the first one I had because like it was just worn to perfection.
Now you just gotta wear.
Oh no.
Now you just gotta wear that one to the point where it gets.
Dude, you should make Bailey do this around his shop, and like now you have to hang up all your personals.
All around.
This is like another one. This is like for sure in my top 10 favorite pieces I own. Pair of like most like early 60s like senior cords. And these originated in Purdue. People started doing these like in early 1900s, around 1910s to like the 20s.
Yeah, it's a really interesting story. Do you know like how they started doing it?
I don't know how exactly it got started.
Cause I heard what I read about an article I think was on like Purdue's archives was that like there was like a store down the street that in the window had like this material.
The yellow cords.
The cords like that material. It wasn't pants yet though. Mm-hmm. And they went and were like, hey, can you make pants of these for us? And so then they made them into pants because like they would pass it. I think they even said it was ugly. Or like it was kind of like a ongoing joke, but then they like made them into cords, and then like people would paint them with stuff that like, I think
they make them personality pieces,
and then only the seniors could wear them.
Yeah,
it was
so
like a rite of passage to get to wear these.
Like they always like tell the personality kind of the person. Like some of them will have cartoons, or some of them will have basketball players on them.
Or like this one's like they were in or whatever.
Yeah, this one's like super kind of dark. Like has like the robber right there, and then you can see. People would sign them too, so like the classmates signed them. But yeah, I don't really know if like this was like a teacher or something like that. And I think the Bulldogs was the mascot for the school, so that's what was on the butt. And then has like the bullets Like the belt around it, and then like the gun holsters.
Yeah.
Then it has the skull right there.
How'd you come across these?
These got pulled in Louisville.
Okay.
And but these like got really popular over in like Japan and over in California, and they got really popular in the 50s over in California when I think Purdue went and played somewhere over in San Francisco area, and they were wearing these, and then it became like a trend over there.
Dang.
So like you'll see like senior cords pop up in Indiana, like Illinois, Ohio, like around there, and then also like Northern California and Oregon and like those areas. But that's like really only where you see like the traditional cords come out of.
Yeah, I've pulled a couple of myself.
Yeah, no, it's crazy.
Luckily. Did I ever tell you my horror story that when I was really early on thrifting, I passed on a pair of cords?
Really? No.
Dude, I want to shoot myself. It was one of those things that they were really cool, and I almost like sent a picture to like the group chat. But it was really early on, so I kept bugging them about everything. So I was like, nah.
I'm not gonna bug them about these $500 pair of jeans.
Yeah, man. Definitely a big L in my.
Dude, I remember those ones that you found. I was like, fuck.
Yeah,
I think I offered it, but I didn't know what like. I wasn't even like aware of like how much I could get out of them. I was like, I'm just offering what I think is decent.
Yeah, it's one of those I probably should have. I should have sat on them a little bit longer, but at that point I was like super broke, so I was like, just take the money that people offer me. And
yeah.
I took the highest offer by the end of the day.
This is like a crazy ass piece that I got from Bailey.
This one's super light.
This is like all movie stars.
Like the
and I don't know what artist did this, like with like the coloring like that, the pop art. This is like a 60s, 70s t-shirt, which you like never see this style like that early of a t-shirt.
It feels
these are
really
all
good
like
too.
50s and 60s like American actors, like
controversial.
Yeah.
But I mean that is
I've actually like posted this and had like comments about that, because I guess this is like a white dude. And that I forget which actor it was. But I guess he was like famous for putting on black makeup or whatever.
Yeah, it is a really cool piece. You got it from Bailey?
Yeah.
Where'd he get it?
I think he got it from like some dude that just grabbed it and didn't really know what it was. Just thought it was
I didn't
cool,
know if it was
you
like
know?
bins or something. Gotcha.
Yeah, I think he got it from the bins.
Oh, that's crazy, dude.
I think it came out of Greenwood.
That's so weird that would pop up here.
Yeah, it's super obscure piece, which I don't have no idea what it is, but it's one piece I'll definitely hold on to. Like I gave him, I think close to $200 just to like get the piece, because he didn't know what the value. He wanted to hold on to it. And
yeah, did he?
He's like, I don't know what's worth, so I don't want to get rid of it. I was like, was $200 like good enough that I get rid of it? He's like, yeah.
Yeah, because it could be worth less, or it could be worth like a little bit more.
Could be worth more.
Probably more likely that it's worth more. But yeah, dude, I really appreciate you letting us come out here and see all of your stuff. I mean, it is really just the beginning of it, because I mean, you have a lot of all this like showroom stuff that is kind of probably part of your collection. But yeah,
for sure. But
it's really cool.
Definitely like the pieces I hold into my room and stuff are not for sale.
Right,
for the most part.
Yeah. Appreciate it, man.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you also, Keough.